Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into Skillful and talking about what really sets apart the pros from the rest, the talents. If you want your build to be top tier, grabbing an OP talent is an absolute must. But let's be real, who's got the time to test out every single one? You could be perfecting your dribbles instead of sifting through a list of mediocre options. Well, don't worry, we've got you covered. We've put in the grind, tested them all, and now we're bringing you the ultimate Skillful Talent tier list. From the game-changing to the why did I even pick this talents, we've ranked them all. So if you want to spend more time owning the field and less time scratching your head over which talent to choose, stick around because this list will make sure you dominate the game from the get-go. Let's jump right in. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking talents in Skillful. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. The talents in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, dumb, lazy, weak, lethargic, and slow-paced. So, let's talk about the C-tier Skillful talents, the ones that make you shake your head and wonder, who thought this was a good idea? But hey, not all talents are created equal, and these are the ones that will make your Skillful experience a little more interesting. Let's dive into why these talents fall into the dreaded C tier, shall we? First up is dumb. Yeah, it's literally called that. With dumb, your flow gain is reduced, which sounds bad, but honestly, it's not the worst. Unless you're planning to go all in with flow-heavy playstyle, you probably won't even notice the difference. It's one of those talents that makes you go, okay, I guess this isn't ideal. But at the end of the day, you can still make it work. Just don't expect to be spamming flow activations without Egoist by your side. Then there's lazy, and trust me, this one lives up to its name. It slightly reduces your stamina, which is super annoying, especially during those nail-biting moments when you really need that last sprint. It's just enough to be a constant reminder that, yep, you're playing with a handicap. It's worse than dumb for sure, but hey, at least you're not completely out of breath. Just mostly. Weak is next, and yeah, it sounds bad, but it's not a total disaster. This one decreases your shot power, but let me tell you a secret. Against AI goalkeepers, it doesn't matter as much as you think. If you can aim your shots well, you'll still make it past them just fine. Weak will have you saying, okay, so my shots are softer, big deal, but you'll still get the job done. Just don't expect any fancy power shots to make the highlight reel. Now, let's talk about the real downers, lethargic and slow-paced. Lethargic makes your ragdoll duration 50% longer, which is a nightmare if you're already struggling with tackles and dribbling. You'll spend more time on the ground than actually playing the game, so better start loving that turf. And then there's slow-paced, which, let's face it, is the worst of the bunch. It slows down your overall speed, which is like tying an anchor to your back. If you're running a marathon against a turtle, you're still losing. It's the kind of talent that makes you question your life choices every time you try to sprint, only to realize you're not going anywhere fast. The talents in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Charger, Endured, and Intelligent. Alright, buckle up folks, because we're diving into some of the quirkiest talents Skillful has to offer. Now, let's be real. These aren't the top dogs of the talent pool, but they have their moments. We're talking about those B-tier talents that might not blow your mind, but have their own little niche charm. So let's kick things off with Charger, shall we? Okay, so Charger. Look, I'll be honest, it's the talent you probably forget you have. It lets you charge shots faster, and while that sounds cool on paper, in practice, it's kinda meh. Why? Because in most scenarios, you don't really feel the difference. It's like getting a faster toaster when your old one worked just fine. Sure, it's there, but you're not writing home about it. Maybe if you're into hyper-specific, slow-paced strategies, Charger could be your jam, but for most of us, it's more like a polite shrug. Next up, Endured, which gives you a tiny bump in stamina. This one's a mixed bag. I mean, having more stamina is nice, right? You can sprint a bit longer, dodge a little more, but here's the thing. Stamina rarely feels like a real issue in this game. It's like bringing an umbrella on a sunny day just in case it rains. You appreciate the caution, but it's rarely necessary. If you're going full-on berserker mode and want to chain those attacks without stopping, Endured might save your skin. For everyone else, probably better to invest in pure speed and outmaneuver your foes instead. And finally, we've got Intelligent, the talent that bumps up your flow gain. Flow, of course, is that sweet energy you use for your special moves. Sounds good, right? But here's the kicker. You'll only really use flow a couple of times per match. So while Intelligent is technically helpful, it's like getting a loyalty card for a coffee shop you visit once a month. Useful, but not exactly game-changing. It's a nice to have when you pick it up, but you won't miss it when it's not there. So that's the rundown for the B-tier talents. They've got their moments, but they're not going to turn the tide of battle. They're more like that friend who always brings chips to the party. Reliable, consistent, but definitely not the life of the event. The talents in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: aware, springy, flexible, aggressive, agile, and blunt. Alright, let's dive right into the talents that'll make you a real menace on the field in Skillful. You know, the kind of player that opponents love to hate because you're always 2 steps ahead? Let's start with aware. This one's like that steady boost to your speed and stamina, making sure you don't gas out mid-game. But here's the thing, while aware's good, it's like the warm-up act compared to Trackstar, which just goes full throttle on the speed. Aware's solid, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like settling for second gear when you know there's a turbo mode available. Now, springy, this one doesn't get nearly enough love, and I'm not sure why. Imagine having that extra little spring in your step when you're on defense. Your opponents think they've got you beat, and then, BAM! You jump higher than they expect, swatting the ball away like a pro. If you time it right, springy lets you pull off some truly clutch plays, and honestly, that alone makes it a bit of a secret weapon in your toolkit. Then there's flexible. Picture this. You're down, you've been ragdolled, and normally it's game over, but not with flexible. This talent has your back, letting you pop right back up like nothing happened. The cool thing is, if you're not exactly the best player out there, flexible becomes your best friend because it turns those embarrassing slip-ups into quick recoveries. It's like the game saying, hey, don't worry, you got this. Let's talk aggressive for a second. If you've got a knack for dribbling and you're out there pulling some serious moves, aggressive is a must-have. It's all about extending the agony for your opponents. When you knock them down, they stay down longer. Great for throwing off your competition, especially if you're making those plays count. Now, as a defensive option, it's not bad, but it's not Glide level good. Glide just has that finesse that aggressive can't quite match defensively. Finally, there's agile and blunt. These 2 talents are where attackers can really get picky. Agile gives you that sweet speed bump. It's subtle, but crucial for those who want to dance around defenders. It's hands down the best rare talent if you're an attacker, and it shows. Blunt, on the other hand, is all about power. Your shots pack a heavier punch, and that's great. But here's the kicker. Agile and springy just offer more in terms of value. If you've got the choice, they're a bit more versatile and give you that edge to stay ahead, rather than just hitting harder. So there you have it. A breakdown of the talents that'll either make you a field legend or leave you in the dust. Choose wisely, because in Skillful, every little edge counts. The talents in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Bolo, Egoist, Trackstar, and Glide. Alright, so let's dive straight into the creme de la creme of Skillful talents, those absolute game changers that make you feel like an unstoppable force on the field. If you want to dominate every match, you've got to know which talents give you that insane edge, and trust me, these S-tier picks are where it's at. First up, we've got Bolo, and if you're not using it, you're missing out on some serious firepower. Bolo cranks up your shot power to ridiculous levels, and it's pure devastation when you pair it with something like Kaiser Impact. It's basically like strapping a rocket to the ball. Boom! Right into the net. If you're all about those jaw-dropping, game-winning strikes, Bolo is your best friend. It's a talent that screams, I'm here to win and I'm not playing around. Then there's Egoist, the talent that's practically cheating with style. This thing lets you build up flow at triple the normal rate, yes, 3 times faster. Just a couple of tackles or a slick goal, and you're already at full flow, ready to unleash those devastating flow-hungry skills. If you're rocking talents that rely on flow, like Kaiser Impact, Egoist is a must-have. It's stupidly strong, and it feels so satisfying when you turn a few quick plays into a highlight reel moment. For all you speed demons out there, Trackstar is the go-to. It's not just about speed, it's about making you untouchable. The passive boost turns you into a blur on the counterattack, leaving defenders grasping at empty space. And it's not just for offense. When you're zipping back to defend, that speed can make the difference between a lost goal and a last-second save. Trackstar's all about turning the tides with pure, uncatchable momentum. And finally, let's talk defense, because Glide is the MVP when it comes to shutting down the other team's offense. That extra slide distance and boosted speed? It's chef's kiss, perfect for those clutch moments when you need to take the ball back and turn the game around. Glide makes you feel like you've got magnetized boots that stick to the ball every time you slide in. It's that good. If you want to frustrate your opponents and stop them dead in their tracks, Glide's got you covered. These talents are game changers, folks. Equip them, master them, and you're going to be the one everyone's talking about at the end of the match. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.